When luxury sales fall, change the strategy, not the soul of the brand. A decline in luxury sales creates a dangerous temptation. Management sees weaker volumes and immediately considers a price reduction, a broader customer base, more products, heavier promotions, or a new collection. Sometimes one of those decisions is right. Very often, the first decision should be different. Find out why the customer stopped buying. Luxury demand can weaken for very different reasons. The customer may no longer see the product as worth its price. The brand may have become too predictable. The design may have lost relevance. The customer may have shifted spending towards travel, wellness, or experiences. A younger customer may simply have a different definition of status. These are very different problems, and they require very different responses. Do not confuse a volume problem with a brand problem. If sales fall, the first task is diagnosis. Management should examine customer cohorts, product-level demand, full-price sell-through, repeat purchasing, geographic differences, channel performance, client feedback, search behavior, and competitor activity. The critical question is, are customers rejecting the brand, the product, the price, or simply the timing of the purchase? Only then should strategy change. Price is a powerful lever, and a dangerous one. Luxury brands cannot treat price as an ordinary volume management tool. Repeated price increases can support revenue for a period, but they eventually test the customer's perception of value. Recent industry analysis shows how heavily luxury growth had relied on price increases, while aspirational consumers became more sensitive to value. A sudden discount can create the opposite problem. It may solve inventory in the short term while weakening the very perception of exclusivity that supports the price. The better question is not, should we lower the price? It is, what is the customer no longer willing to pay for, and what would make the product worth paying for again? Change the customer, the product, or the proposition? Sometimes the answer is to redefine the priority customer. Sometimes the product needs to evolve. Sometimes the design language needs to become more relevant. Sometimes the brand needs a different entry point without changing its core positioning. And sometimes the correct decision is to do less, but make the core product considerably better. This is why luxury strategy cannot be separated from supply chain strategy. If a brand promises craftsmanship, scarcity, quality, and exceptional service, the supply chain has to be capable of delivering those promises consistently. Listen before you redesign. Luxury management should maintain a continuous view of customer behavior, not just annual market research. Track what customers are buying, postponing, returning, searching for, discussing, and comparing. Monitor competitor launches, design directions, price architecture, and changes in cultural relevance, but do not let every trend dictate the brand. The purpose of market intelligence is not to make the brand chase fashion. It is to identify which changes matter and which should be ignored. Global strategy, local intelligence. The answer is rarely either global or local. Brand positioning, standards, product architecture, and core identity may need global consistency. Customer insight, assortment, communication, retail execution, and market priorities may require local adaptation. The strongest model is therefore globally coherent, locally intelligent. A luxury brand should be recognizable everywhere, but it should not behave identically everywhere. The final test. When sales fall, ask 5 questions before changing the strategy. Is the customer still there? Does the customer still want the category? Does the product still feel distinctive? Does the price still make sense against perceived value? And is the brand still culturally relevant? If the answers reveal a genuine structural problem, change quickly, but change the commercial model, product architecture, or customer strategy before changing the soul of the brand. Luxury does not survive by standing still. It survives by knowing what must evolve and what must never be diluted.